The film begins with Reed Richards at home, searching for something he can't find. At the same time, he's talking to his wife, Sue Storm. Sue discovers she's pregnant and rushes to tell him the news. Reed is thrilled at first. They'd been trying for 2 years to conceive. They'd given up, thinking the cosmic radiation they'd been exposed to had ruined their chances. But now they're having a baby normally. Of course, they rejoice. Sue tells him they'll raise her child far from any danger since they're superheroes. On TV, a program celebrates 4 years since the Fantastic Four's debut. The host recounts their space exploration mission: 4 astronauts, Reed, Sue, her brother Johnny, and Ben Grimm. During the flight, cosmic rays altered their DNA, granting each unique powers. Johnny became the Human Torch. He can engulf himself in flames and fly. Ben turned into the Thing, a rock-like mass of strength. Reed became Mr. Fantastic, able to stretch his body. Sue gained invisibility and force fields. They call her the Invisible Woman. In those 4 years, they honed their powers against many threats, earning humanity's view as saviors. People demanded their official recognition, dubbing them the Fantastic Four. That day at their home, we see Reed Harper preparing a radio interview with celebrities Richard and Storm. They sit with Johnny and Grimm, but tension shows. They're hiding something. Grimm looks at Storm and says he senses it. Surprised he knows, Storm replies she's pregnant. Everyone rejoices for her. Brother Johnny lights fireworks. The news spreads worldwide. Humanity starts a countdown for the newborn. Of course, questions arise. Will the baby inherit powers like them or be normal? This preoccupies Reed, so he designs a scanning crib to examine the fetus. Meanwhile, Reed shows Johnny a device he developed that teleports anything from one place to another. Reed wants to scan the fetus in Sue's womb, but Sue isn't convinced by the schedule. She tells him they've done many tests. Nothing indicates the baby is abnormal. To reassure him, she makes the fetus visible by turning her belly skin invisible. Reed sees the baby inside and feels she's right. No unnatural signs. It'll be a normal child like any other. That same night at home, a strange phenomenon appears in the sky. They spot a silver figure descending from space, flying on a surfboard-like board. This figure, named Silver Surfer, speaks their language. He announces his planet was doomed to destruction and warns Earth has limited time before the devourer of worlds, Galactus, consumes it. He confirms no chance of escape. They should say goodbye to loved ones as their fate is sealed. He ascends and leaves. Johnny pursues, grabs his board, but the surfer glances at him, utters a strange phrase, and effortlessly repels him before departing. On Earth, they're baffled. Who is Galactus and why destroy the planet? Reed explains he tracked the surfer's space movements and noticed multiple planets destroyed in various dimensions at the exact spots of his activity. They deduce every planet he visits gets annihilated soon after. Reed insists they must confront Galactus and stop him before he reaches Earth. Johnny tries to convince them the surfer said a strange phrase to him with special meaning. He'd heard it before on recordings of radio messages from other planets, messages no one understood or sourced. Johnny senses emotion in her voice, like she meant something specific, but they see no value in this. Instead, prepare for launch without wasting time. They begin readying for the journey. Days later, humanity bids them farewell as they board the space rocket, pinning great hope on stopping Galactus before he reaches Earth. The rocket launches, their craft detaches, and their space journey begins. They arrive at a planet ahead, literally being devoured from within. A massive spaceship emerges from its core, Galactus' vessel, the devourer of worlds. Sue uses her invisibility to cloak their ship. They sneak close to the giant vessel, but suddenly get exposed. A powerful energy pulls them inside without control. The Silver Surfer enters their craft, announcing her master Galactus wishes to meet them. They exit in suits. She orders them to follow for the audience. As they trail her, they ask how Galactus selects planets to consume. She replies he doesn't choose. They realize her role is scouting targets for him to devour. Johnny flies beside her, asking the strange phrase's meaning. She says it means, go say goodbye to your loved ones. The Silver Surfer leads them to the giant Galactus. They behold his colossal form. He addresses them. Billions of years ago, he was small like them, before eternal hunger forced him to consume and destroy planets. He assumes they came to beg mercy, but Reed says they came to negotiate. Galactus surprises them. Inside Sue's womb is a child with immense cosmic power, the only thing to sate his endless hunger. To save Earth, surrender the baby. Reed refuses. They won't let him take their son. Galactus warns they underestimate the child's power. It could unmake the universe. He'll devour it to end his torment. Sue screams in horror. Reed tells Galactus he won't destroy Earth or take their child. Instantly, Johnny attacks to distract him, buying time to escape to their ship. They race into their ship and escape. Sue writhes in labor. They discover the Silver Surfer pursuing. Reed orders maximum engine speed and dimension jumping. At the last second before she reaches Sue's belly, they leap to another dimension, evading her. But she's using her powers, chasing across dimensions. Sue begs brother Johnny to finish her with the ship's weapon. He fires, but she dodges. A black hole looms ahead. Reed commands approach to shake the pursuer, close enough to risk ship destruction. Reed tells Sue to cloak the vessel. She renders it invisible. The surfer falls for the trap, pulled into the black hole. They escape, she can't follow. Reed calms his wife Sue as she gives birth, assuring her their son will be a normal human, not as Galactus claimed. The baby is born aboard the ship, healthy and ordinary. They beam with joy. The craft lands on Earth. People assume victory over Galactus, especially seeing the newborn. But at the press conference, Reed announces they didn't defeat Galactus. They negotiated, but he demanded the impossible. They couldn't surrender. He reveals Galactus wanted their son to spare Earth. Reed refused. Journalists and crowd reel in disbelief. They didn't sacrifice the child for them. They ask if Earth is doomed. Reed replies he doesn't know, leaves them stunned. Meanwhile, the Silver Surfer returns to the massive ship, apologizing for failing to retrieve the child. Galactus orders her to fetch it soon. Its infinite power will end his eternal hunger forever. At that moment on Earth, Johnny is in the room wearing a spacesuit. His sister Sue enters. He has her sit, puts on the helmet, and plays the recording of the Silver Surfer explaining the phrase in her language. He tells her many discs have messages in the same tongue, received on space frequencies. No one knew source or meaning. Decoding it could let him communicate with the surfer. In following days, public turns against them. TV interviews accuse selfishness, demand they surrender the child to Galactus to save Earth. Massive pressure mounts for sacrifice. Reed assures wife Sue nothing will come between them. She agrees she can't abandon her son. She steps outside to the crowd, holding baby Franklin fearlessly. She addresses them, introducing her son, a child like any other. As a mother, feeling motherhood like all mothers, she shares emotions, certain they'll understand. No mother could sacrifice her child. Her decision doesn't mean dooming their world. She sees it as her extended family. She vows to fight and protect it with everything. The crowd empathizes. They pledge to face and defeat Galactus. Sue enters after reigniting hope. Reed reveals his idea. Apply his teleportation experiment to shift Earth to another dimension. Galactus can't reach it. He explains, build bridges worldwide, activate simultaneously to jump the planet. He pitches on TV, urging participation before Galactus arrives. Humanity starts constructing bridges globally. Meanwhile, Johnny deciphers the language, compiling words, finally translating. He rushes in, excited to share, but they say Earth's relocation countdown begins. Suddenly, bridges worldwide explode. The Silver Surfer appears, destroying them one by one, thwarting the plan at the last second. Only one bridge remains. They realize she's coming for the baby. Johnny attacks. She repels him until he stops and plays the recorded messages. Hearing her planet's language moves her. Johnny tells her they decoded the messages from her homeworld, calling and thanking her for saving them. We learn here that the Silver Surfer lived a normal life with her own child on her planet until Galactus appeared to devour it. She pledged loyalty to spare her world. Ever since, she's led him from planet to planet for consumption. Johnny confronts her. She's responsible for all those destructions and now wants Earth next. She collapses under guilt she'd evaded, unable to bear it, and flees. Johnny follows, saying he's trying to save his world like she once did, begging her help. But she insists nothing stops Galactus. Take the child and flee Earth before he arrives and destroys it. She leaves. Johnny returns. They decide not to abandon humanity. They'll face Galactus. Reed gets an idea. Lure him to Earth separate from his massive ship. Instead of jumping Earth to another dimension, lure him to the remaining bridge and teleport him to a dimension he can't escape. They ponder bait. Sue suggests using their son. Galactus craves him. Johnny and Ben object, but no other option exists. The next day, they prepare and plan. The issue: city residents risk danger luring Galactus to the bridge. They need a safe evacuation. They enlist Harvey, king of underground tunnels, asking him to hide citizens in subterranean passages. He agrees. They honored a past deal. Residents follow to protect Adepts. Galactus' ship approaches Earth. They place the baby in the square as bait and hide. Galactus descends in colossal form, scans with eyes until locating the child, advances. At arrival, they ambush to distract. Reed swaps the baby's bag. Johnny grabs the child, rushes home for safety. They lure Galactus to the bridge for dimension jump. But suddenly he halts, scans again, pinpoints the baby at home, changes course. They try every way to delay him. Nothing affects his immense power. Meanwhile, Sue races toward him in the car, cloaking it. He swats her aside. Reed reaches him, climbs his body using stretch powers. Galactus grabs him with fingertips, extends to near tearing. At that instant, Johnny, flying with Ben, strikes. Galactus releases Reed, continues to the house. He extends his hand, seizes the child, raises it. Time to end eternal hunger. But Sue unleashes severe waves, pushing him back slowly. She taps immense energy she never knew she had. Reed urges her to stop. It could harm her. She orders him to save their son quickly. He obeys, joins Johnny and Ben. Johnny prepares to open the bridge portal. Ben shatters columns Galactus grips. Waves shove Galactus backward. Portal activates. At the last second, Reed snatches the baby from his hand before the portal swallows him, saving the child. At that moment, Sue unleashes all her power, shoving Galactus through the waves into the portal. But before it seals, he emerges again. They must push him back inside before closure. Johnny decides to sacrifice himself, flying toward him swiftly. Then the Silver Surfer intervenes, pushes Johnny aside, collides with Galactus herself, forcing him through and sacrificing her life. The portal seals. They rush to Sue. She's not breathing. Reed attempts CPR, but no response. He can't believe they've lost her. Their son cries, wanting his mother. Reed brings him close, places him on her. The baby uses both hands, channeling power to revive Sue. They're stunned, uncomprehending. Sue tells Reed their son isn't like them. He's far stronger. They rejoice in her return. Humanity emerges from underground, resuming city life. A year later, television celebrates them as always. The host says they saved the world again. They prepare for the broadcast. A production staffer approaches Sue and Reed, giving clothes designed for their son like theirs, marked with a 5. But Sue and Reed apologize, refusing to let him appear as a superhero. They're too young. Moments before airtime, an alarm signals danger. They respond immediately, head to their car. But first, they adjust Franklin's front seat, taking forever to secure it. Finally, they speed off to face the threat. The movie ends.